Ms. Stevenson, can we have communication?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
All right, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, sir.
I think we have a couple minutes still. All right. If you're ready there in Carson City, we'll get started.
We are ready, sir.
Okay, let's call to order the State of Nevada Board of Examiners meeting scheduled for today, November 12th, 2024 at 10 a.m. We'll kick it off with the roll call.
Governor Lombardo,
Here.
Attorney General Ford,
Here.
Secretary Aguilar.
Here.
Let the record reflect we have a quorum, sir.
Thank you. We'll move on to the first opportunity for public comment. This period is limited to comments on items on the agenda. No action may be taken upon a matter raised under this public comment period unless the matter itself has been specifically included on the agenda as an action item. We will limit public comment to 3 minutes. If you wish to call in to provide public comment, that's at 775-321-6111. And let me give you the ID code, 985-815-151#. Do we have any public comment there in Carson City?
I don't see any, sir.
Do we have any public comment here in Las Vegas? Anybody online? Phone? All right. We'll close public comment, move on to agenda item number 3, approval of October 2nd, 2024 meeting minutes for possible action. Any questions or concerns?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion for approval. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Mike, we don't do a second because there's only 3 of us.
I understand, sir.
Okay. And we'll move on to agenda item number 4, state vehicle purchases for possible action. Ms. Stevenson.
Thank you, sir. There are 2 requests under agenda item number 4 today. The first request is from the Department of Agriculture requesting approval to purchase 1 new vehicle for the total amount not to exceed $332,495. And the second request is from the Department of Public Safety, Nevada Highway Patrol Division, requesting approval to purchase 1 new vehicle for a total amount not to exceed $64,381. Are there any questions on any of these items?
Questions?
None here. Move approval.
All right, we have a motion for approval. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. We move to agenda item number 5, authorization for an emergency contract with a current and/or former state employee for possible action via the Department of Education.
Thank you, sir. This request is from the Department of Education pursuant to NRS 333.705, subsection 4. The department seeks a favorable recommendation regarding its determination to use the emergency provision to contract with former employee Heidi Hartz to manage COVID relief funds through Manpower. Are there any questions on this item?
Go ahead.
I do. Yeah, I have a question. If I'm reading this right, so this contract was from August 21st and it terminated, right, effective September 6th. Is that right?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Is there any reason why it took till October 30th for us to get the paperwork on this?
Is this similar to the contract, Cisco, by the way, is this similar to the contract we had before where we,
I think so.
okay.
Right.
So I'm wondering, is there anyone who can answer that question? Why is it taking until October 30th to get us this request for an emergency contract approval retroactive at this point?
Sir, let me look into the timing in that, and I'll get back to you with an answer on that.
So here's the issue. I think the last time we had a circumstance like this, we had a no vote. It passed because it's already done and over with.
But just for clarification for the record, Governor Lombardo, the previous issue was based on the 90-day cooling off period.
Okay.
This is a different, it's contract timing here.
Okay. So it's different for that.
Yeah.
Okay. I would like an explanation as to the timing of this, why we couldn't get it in. We meet every other week, seems like. So we should have been able to get this request in closer to the August 24th start date, and certainly by the termination date of September.
Thank you, sir. There was one BOE that was canceled September, and then October is I don't believe we had it in time for the October one, but I will double check that for you and give you an answer. But the September one was where it was originally scheduled to be on was canceled.
But we
Okay.
did have an emergency meeting for specifically the Department of Ed and their federal contracts.
Right.
That's true. Okay, so is it going to cause a problem if we table this to the next?
No, it's already been served.
It's already done, right? All right, so I'd like an answer on that for the next BOE meeting, if that's okay. If this could be, I don't know what the proper motion is on that.
Just a motion for continuance.
All right, can we, you okay with that?
Mhm.
I move that we continue this agenda item to the next BOE meeting.
Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Did you get clarification on that, Ms. Stevenson?
Yes, sir. And we will have that for the next BOE.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll close agenda item number 5 and move on to agenda item number 6, authorization to contract with a current and or former state employee for possible action. Do any members have a problem if we take them as one item?
Nope.
Okay. Ms. Stevenson, did you hear that? We'll address this issue as one item.
Yes, sir. So the 3 requests under this agenda item, the first one is from the Department of Education. The department requests authority to contract with former employee Heidi Hartz to provide project management support for COVID relief fund projects through Manpower. The second request is from the Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Child and Family Services. Pursuant to NRS 333.705 subsection 1, the department requests authority to contract with former employee Deborah Hassett to assist with human resources through Manpower. And the third request is from Department of Transportation. They request authority to contract with former employee Roger Trott to assist with coordinating right-of-way permits through Marathon Staffing Group. Are there any questions on any of these items?
No questions?
No question.
Move approval.
We have a motion for approval can you clarify the motion?
Yeah, motion for approval for all in this agenda items.
6 ABC.
6 ABC.
There you go. All right, we have a motion for approval for items 6A, B, and C. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Now we'll move on to agenda item number 7, reconsideration of October 2nd, 2024 approval of proposed state administrative manual changes via Governor's Finance Office Budget Division. Ms. Stevenson.
Thank you, sir. At its October 2nd, 2024 meeting, the Board of Examiners approved modifications to the policies and procedures of the Board of Examiners adopted and collected in the State Administrative Manual. Pursuant to NRS 353.040, the office requests the Board of Examiners to reconsider the effective date of the changes to Section 204 regarding Board of Examiners travel policy. The requested new effective date of the previously approved changes to Section 0204 is December 11th, 2024. Are there any questions on this item?
Any questions?
No questions. I would just like to comment, say thank you so much for hearing the issues raised and going back to the drawing board to bring this back to the proposal. Where for a motion?
Yes, sir.
Move approval.
We have a motion for approval on agenda item number 7. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And we'll move on to agenda item number 8, request for approval of proposed state administrative manual changes for possible action via the Governor's Finance Office Budget Division.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Sorry. Pursuant to NRS 353.040, the Governor's Finance Office Budget Division requests modifications to the policies and procedures of the State Administrative Manual, Chapters 2630 and 3610. Are there any questions on this item?
Any questions?
No questions, motion to approve.
Go ahead. Just catching up.
No. Go ahead. Take your time.
So number 7 is inserted, so number 7 became 8.
I was reading number 7 when I made the comments.
Yeah.
Right.
Those comments relate to this particular agenda item. My apologies. I'll do it for a loop there. Okay, thank you.
I was confused this morning too.
Okay.
Figured it out.
I was wondering why you looked at me like that when I was saying that, though. You could have just, tapped me and been like,
It's all
I
right.
was saying that.
But that was a particular issue on the previous. Table the motion for just a second, just a comment for the record, Governor Lombardo, on the previous item number 7, that was additional to that. They just separated it here. And that's why, so your previous comment stand.
Okay.
There were, yeah, so, and I'll explain that for after the sequester. So, on agenda item number 8, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
We have a motion for approval. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right. And I'll repeat the Attorney General's comments. Yes, thank you for reconsidering those particular items. I think that would have caused us as individuals some significant issues within the workplace. So, all right, we'll move on to agenda item number 9, request for recommendation and approval to the interim finance committee for allocation amount from the contingency account for possible action. And we'll take these separately, Ms. Stevenson. We'll kick it off with 9A.
Yes, sir. The first request is from the Department of Employment, Training, and Rehabilitation Division. Pursuant to NRS 353.268, the division requests a recommendation to the Interim Finance Committee for an allocation of $1,216,748 from the Interim Finance Committee contingency account to continue providing vocational services to eligible clients with disabilities. Is there any questions on this item?
Any questions? Entertain a motion for approval.
Move approval.
We have a motion for approval. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. We'll move on to item 9B.
Thank you, sir. The second request is from the Department of Employment, Training, and Rehabilitation Division. Pursuant to NRS 353.268, the department requests a recommendation to the Interim Finance Committee for an allocation of $78,728 from the Interim Finance Committee contingency account to continue providing vocational services to the blind and visually impaired. Are there any questions on this item?
Any questions?
None here.
Entertain a motion for approval.
Move to approve.
We have a motion for approval. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Move on to agenda item number 9C.
Thank you, sir. The third request is from the Department of Sentencing and Policy. Pursuant to NRS 353.268, the department requests a recommendation to the Interim Finance Committee for an allocation of $57,712 from the Interim Finance Committee contingency account to fund a new Management Analyst 2 position and associated costs. Is there any questions on this item?
Any questions? Just go.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion for approval. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We'll move on to agenda item number 10, request for approval to pay a tort claim pursuant to NRS 41.036 for possible action. Attorney General or Mike, can we take these together or no?
We can, absolutely.
Okay. Well, we'll take them together, Ms. Stevenson.
Thank you, sir. Pursuant to NRS 41.036, the Office of the Attorney General submits the following tort claim requests for approval. The first one is claimant Mary Ann Tallman, claim number T as in Tom, C as in Charlie, 21331, settlement amount $200,000, data lost August 16th, 2023. The second claimant is Ronnie Dean Smith, claim number T as in Tom, C as in Charlie, 21332, settlement amount is $200,000, data lost August 16th, 2023. Are there any questions on these items?
Any questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve
Clarify it.
on item 10, A and B.
We have a motion for approval. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. We move on to agenda item number 11, approval of proposed leases for possible action. Ms. Stevenson.
Thank you, sir. There are 6 leases under this agenda item for approval by the board today. Are there any questions on any of these leases?
I have 7. Which one was removed?
The previous was number 5. It was pulled on the previous agenda.
Okay.
So how many should there be?
6.
Yeah, okay, I see.
Your agenda just didn't get updated.
Motion to approve the 6 leases under item number 11.
We have a motion for approval. All those in favor signify by saying
Aye.
aye. Aye. Motion passes. Okay, now we'll move on to item number 12, approval of proposed contracts for possible action. Ms. Stevenson.
Thank you, sir. There are 49 contracts under this agenda item for approval by the board today. Are there any questions on any of these contracts?
No questions.
No.
All right, I have a question on contract number 28. Department of Health and Human Services, Public and Behavioral Health Crisis Response, reference to 988 suicide hotline. Is there somebody present that can speak to this?
Yes, sir. They're coming to the table now.
I have some opening remarks if you would like, sir.
Sure, go ahead and identify yourself first, please.
Good morning, Governor Lombardo and members of the Board of Examiners. My name is Shannon Bennett, and I serve as the Bureau Chief for the Bureau of Behavioral Health, Wellness, and Prevention within the Division of Public and Behavioral Health. I am joined today by Rachel Isherwood, who serves as the Crisis Response System Program Manager. For your consideration today is Carillon Behavioral Health Contract Number C29740 for the administration of the Nevada Behavioral Health Crisis Care Hub, which will provide new technology, infrastructure, and within 6 months' time, open a brand new call center located in Southern Nevada to join the 988 network. Every month, Nevada's 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline receives anywhere from 3,500 to 4,200 calls. Historically, Nevada has not been able to always answer all of these calls quickly or before these calls are redirected to a backup call center ran by our national partners. The proposed contractor, Carillon Behavioral Health, projects they would be able to answer 95% of calls to the 988 Lifeline within 20 seconds after the successful opening of the call center in Southern Nevada in 6 months. Instant answering will connect more Nevadans more quickly to local crisis counselors with specific knowledge of behavioral health resources in Nevada. The centralization of 988 services through the Administrative Services Organization structure required by the contract would also allow the Nevada 988 Lifeline to directly dispatch mobile crisis teams from a 988 call. The contract would also create the ability to place Nevadan crisis counselors in the same room as 911 dispatchers in certain communities in a process known as co-location. Co-location would improve the knowledge of all parties responsible for behavioral health calls and ensure that a caller can be transferred to the appropriate response for the specific needs of their call, whether it's to 911 or 988. The majority of this contract will be paid using the fees collected from a 35-cent surcharge on certain Nevada telephone lines. Since beginning to collect fees in June of 2023, DPBH has collected a total of $19,067,400.77 and projects these fees will gather approximately $14.2 million each year. I really want to emphasize that this is our largest step forward yet in building out an effective crisis response system for the state of Nevada. By creating the technology and infrastructure with an effective call center solution that can grow with the needs of Nevada, we are setting ourselves up for success now and in the future as we move forward with bringing more improvements to the other elements of the crisis response system. I also want to acknowledge some of our incredible staff members and leadership that made it possible to bring this contract before you for approval today. That includes State Purchasing Division for their support throughout the RFP and contract process. Thanks must also go to you, Governor Lombardo, and legislators for the support in the passage of SB 237, which gave us the revenue to support this contract. Without all this instrumental support throughout the previous legislative sessions, we would not be one of the first states in the entire nation with a dedicated, sustainable funding source for crisis response at the state level and would not have the funding to bring this contract to you today. Thanks especially needs to go to our Crisis Response System Program Manager, Rachel Isherwood, and 988 Project Manager, Kanaya Vadlacuntia, for their incredible work in developing a full, comprehensive contract all the way from just an idea. The process of going out to RFI and RFP and eventually to a contract of such a high dollar value took 2 full years, even with previous and extensive planning work by state and community partners. Throughout the process of the RFP and contract negotiations, Rachel and Kanaya continued to demonstrate incredible perseverance and determination in finding a technology and infrastructure system for our crisis response system. DPBH is truly confident that this invaluable hard work will save and improve the lives of Nevadans across our state. I am happy to take any questions you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Bennett. You answered the majority of the questions I had. Just a couple additional ones. How long will the centralized unit take to build out?
This is Shannon Bennett for the record. Thank you for the question. The call center in Southern Nevada is going to take 6 months to stand up. Carillon will incorporate our current crisis call center, which is Crisis Support Services of Nevada, upon contract approval, and will begin bolstering their efforts. And they currently serve as our statewide call center. The further efforts of building out the crisis response system is going to be a continued process over many years, but this is the start of it.
And where will it be located?
There will be a call center in Reno, which already exists with Crisis Support Services of Nevada, and then there will be one in Southern Nevada in Las Vegas. There will also be opportunity for co-location with 911. We've been working with Clark County on this already, and in discussions with Washoe County. There's a lot to be determined in how that will all roll out, but this contract will leave us available to be able to support our 911 call centers and bolster their efforts for their behavioral health calls.
Okay, so one of the issues that I'm aware of is dispatchers associated with law enforcement. Are you having any hiring issues for these centers to occupy the phone lines?
Thank you for the question, Governor. This is Shannon Bennett for the record. We haven't heard of any specific concerns coming from Crisis Support Services of Nevada. They've been able to successfully bring staff on. One of the things that they do indicate is that it's hard to retain staff and they have challenges with burnout. Carillon has a lot of components in their contract that deal with burnout and helping ensure those call takers are getting the support they need to best serve Nevadans.
Thank you. Any other questions from any other board members? No? Well, I appreciate it, and thank you for being prepared for the questions. I'm sure somebody gave you a phone call, but that's fantastic. I just got to show my overall appreciation for what you have done in such a short time for a valuable service. So, good luck to you in the future.
Thank you, sir.
All right, if there are no other questions, I'll entertain a motion for approval on agenda item number 12.
So moved.
We have a motion for approval on, let me get the total. Provide the total.
49.
49.
49. So we have a motion of approval on item number 12 for contracts 1 through 49. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. We'll move on to agenda item number 13, approval of proposed master service agreements for possible. Ms. Stevens.
Thank you, sir. There are 10 master service agreements under this agenda item for approval by the board today. Are there any questions on any of these master service agreements?
Any questions?
No question. Motion to approve all 10 of master service agreements.
All right, we have a motion for approval. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And we'll move on to agenda item number 14, information item, clerk of the board's contracts.
Thank you, sir. There are 90 contracts under $10,000 and, over $10,000 and under the $100,000 threshold that were approved by the clerk of the board between September 5th, 2024 through October 15th, 2024. This item is informational, and are there any questions on any of these contracts?
Any questions?
No question.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to agenda item number 15, information item reports. Let's kick it off with 15A. Ms. Stevens.
Thank you, sir. The first report is from the Governor's Finance Office Budget Division. Pursuant to NRS Chapter 353, the Governor's Finance Office Budget Division presents a reconciled fund balance report for the following funds as of October 14th, 2024 for fiscal year 2025. These are the available balances for each account prior to any projected outstanding claims. Tort claim fund is $4,479,122.98. Statutory contingency account, $2,533,938.71. Stale claims account is $2,826,082.96. Emergency account is $500,000. Disaster relief account is $13,043,674. IFC contingency unrestricted general fund is $15,307,566.78. IFC contingency unrestricted highway fund is $1,638,068.35. IFC contingency restricted general fund is $119,302,525. IFC contingency restricted highway fund is $19,142,217. And the extradition coordinator budget account, 1002, is $167,140.91. Were there any questions on this item?
For the record, Governor Lombardo, Ms. Stevenson, on the disaster relief account, the 13 million, is that minus the Davis fire costs? Do we know that? Has that been done yet?
That has not been done yet, sir. So that's not
Okay.
minus. But we know the approximate value of the Davis fire, but we don't have we don't have those bills yet.
Do you have the approximate? What is it?
It's about $9 million.
9 million?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. sir.
So, any questions?
Yeah, just a quick question. Do you note anywhere in here the pending Lobato wrongful conviction claim of $900,000?
It's not, I can look in the pending claims, but it's not, we don't have that information as of right now, sir.
Okay, I just wanted to, just to be clear, because I do believe that after that payment, we're looking at projections that may, let me table that and work a little offline on that. I just want to be certain that we have accounted for the Lobato wrongful conviction, but you said it may be in the pending claims. Is that what you just said?
This is, so these balances are prior to any projected outstanding claims. So I don't have that information if we have it as a projected outstanding claim, but I can find out, sir.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Thank you.
All right. Cisco, any questions?
No questions.
All right. We'll move on to 15B.
The second report is the Department of Motor Vehicles Complete Streets Program pursuant to NRS 482.1825 subsection 2. The department shall certify to the Board of Examiners the amount of the voluntary contributions collected for each county by the department and its agents, and that money has been distributed as provided in statute. This submittal reports program activities by month for the first quarter of fiscal year 2025 for the period beginning July 1st, 2024, and ending September 30th, 2024. Is there any questions on this item?
No questions.
No question. If I could just back up real quickly, the Lobato wrongful conviction number is in fact on your statutory contingency fund balance sheet. So I just wanted to be clear about that. We're good, so don't worry about that, Amy.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
All right, no questions. So we'll move on to, we close 15, move on to item 16, second opportunity for public comment. If you have public comment, please limit it to 3 minutes. We have any public comment there in Carson City?
No, sir.
Any here in Las Vegas? Y'all came just to watch us? You want us to talk? No? Anybody online or on the phone? Seeing none? We will close the second opportunity for public comment and move for adjournment.
So moved.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right,
Aye. Thank you, everyone.
thanks, Mike.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. You had a simple one.
I just thought I got this the final roll. Taking my seat. I know. It felt good, sir. I gotta be honest.